You are live with Dr. Chapa. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. I hope that you are awesome. I hope that you're feeling awesome. I like that Bill Murray little meme that says, "You're awesome." And the reality is if you're not awesome, that means something is lurking in the shadows. And are you paying attention to those symptoms that you may not even realize are right below your nose, right under your rib cage, right next to your stomach? It is your liver. Your liver is constantly talking to us day in and day out. My name is Dr. Aaron Chapa. I give people alternatives to drugs and surgery, and every week I get to come on the show with you guys, the Dr. Chapa Wellness Show, and teach you how to live better, be better, and stay better, one bite at a time. So I couldn't be more excited to introduce one of my favorite friends, the liver. The liver is the giver, guys. I've been talking about the liver for years, and I'm so excited to share with you guys tonight some of my favorite things about the liver. The liver has so many cool nuances, has so many cool processes, and it can be damaged and have invisible symptoms that you don't realize are coming from the liver. Or I guess I say invisible sourcing symptoms, but you have sourcing coming from the liver that is keeping you from being in control of your health. People fear what they cannot see, but they cannot control what they cannot know is their liver is the giver. And if you get this right and you realize the liver's basically a compensating agent that compensates cellular resilience for you quietly day in and day out. By the time today's show is over, you're going to realize for years you've probably been dealing with some sort of symptomatic overload that the liver just couldn't keep up with. I mean, in an ideal world, your liver should be able to keep up with the day to day. But the reality is, in a day full of toxins, toxic air, toxic water, toxic food, toxic home, living, we are being gassed to death and we're eating ourselves to death through poisoning of this great organ called the liver. And I know it. Normal labs are all in your grasp. You've all been to the doctor and they said, your liver's fine. You don't have any problems. I had a veterinarian tell me that her son didn't have any problems with his liver because she's worked on so many livers in animals. There's no way that her kid had a liver problem. But the understanding of liver disease and alcoholism is so bad marketing. There's so many other things the liver's involved with. The most dangerous phase of liver dysfunction is the silent one. Are you listening to the symptoms? Are you paying attention? This is tonight's message. And I want you to really grasp hold of this idea that you don't have to suffer anymore. The liver is the giver. And why this matters is because your liver is involved in over 500 known functions. And tonight, I hope to kind of paint a picture that it may even be involved in more than 500 functions. I've said for years that it's involved in 1,500, 1,600, even 1,700 different functions of the body. And we will get to this here later. And so here's what I want. I don't want you to be tied up in what we call, hey, you waited too long and your liver couldn't rebound back. I have found that the liver is very resilient, but it is not invincible forever. It does have a lifespan. So years of stress, that creates liver dysfunction. Bad food, fake food, what I like to say, make-believe food leads to one thing and one thing only, guys, make-believe health. If you're eating or smelling chemicals in your homes, if you're drinking chemicals in your fluid, which a lot of people do, I'm still shocked at the number of people that are doing diet products, light products, sugar-free products, using underarm deodorants. They're putting, junk in their mouth through toothpaste. They're still getting fluoride treatments. The reality is the toxic load is high. And these are voluntary things. What about the medications people are being scare tacticked into? What about this ability for this idea that your liver is, hey, it's your filter. It can handle it right up until it can't. Well, one, it's not a filter. Two, it's a manufacturing facility. And three, it is resilient, but it's not infinite. You have to understand that every year, if you're not indulging in the detox experience, if you're not going through the detox in a box, if you're not operating the system as a true operator of your body instead of a participator of enjoying this earth suit while you have it, then you're going to be a victim of aging, accelerated aging processes. Getting what I would say, what Gary Knoll always says is aging is only a number. But the reality is most of the numbers are cobwebbed and infested. They haven't been taken care of. We need to knock the dust off these things. You don't pay for liver overload immediately. You pay for it later, and unfortunately with massive exponential compounding interest. So the liver is involved in so many processes of the body, and I want you to really grab hold of that concept. And we're going to go over here just a little bit, but I want you to appreciate right now that the liver is overloaded. Your liver, my liver, all of our livers are potentially being burdened with toxic exposure that's causing blood sugar imbalances, insulin-related disease processes, which essentially is leading to autoimmunity, joint dysfunction, neuropathies in the body, cardiovascular stress, high blood pressure, kidney disease, cancer, all of it. And interestingly, when the liver is overloaded, this powerful system can keep up with a lot of it, by the way. But if you have experienced fatigue, weight gain, hormone issues, skin problems, brain fog, anxiety, your liver and your gut are inflamed. They're compromised, which is essentially going to cause organ dysfunction leads to nutritional deficiencies. And if you're eating fake food, nutritional deficiencies leads to organ dysfunction. So it's literally this boom, this crash into symptom land where people find themselves, what I would say on the case of the suddenlies, they suddenly wake up with high blood pressure. They suddenly have high cholesterol. They suddenly have high triglycerides, and they all look unrelated. And most people are going to the wrong areas of the body when really the bottleneck is right here, either at the liver or at the bowel. If we fix the bowels, clean the bowels, then the liver oftentimes will work and do things like it's supposed to on its own. But if the bowels are backed up, the liver will not dump into an already toxic bowel. This you've got to get in your head. One system affects another, affects another, affects another. Everything is a part of what we call the watch concept. Which part of the watch tells time? And I hope you have heard me say this once, if not twice, maybe the first time tonight, but if not, you should know the answer by now. All of it, all of it, all of it. So toxins cause the system to have strain. These toxins get backed up into the body, and your body has to find a solution. Well, your liver, when overloaded, will back up into the lymphatics. And if it gets stuck in the lymphatics, your body will get sick. So to prevent sickness, your body will push these toxins into your brain, and now you got brain fog. It'll push toxins into fat cells. Now you can't lose weight. It'll push toxins into joints, and now your joints are inflamed and irritated, and you've got what they call arthritis, or what I like to call arthrongus, because there's nothing rightus about it. Somebody say amen. I'm telling you, this doesn't happen overnight, guys, but it builds up quietly. You see, what we look at when we're dealing with early, often ignored symptoms like fatigue, we don't associate the liver with chronic fatigue. We think, oh, we need more coffee. We need more rocket fuel. We need more energy drinks. We need better sleep. And that isn't true. You need better sleep, but you don't need those other things. You should be able to function and fire like you're supposed to all through the day on all 8 cylinders, feeling your best, performing your best with strong brain power, no headaches, no nausea, no sensitivities of any kind like allergies or sensitivities to smell. How many people have you ever met that have walked into places, the perfume aisles at the mall, for example, and they absolutely avoid it, or they walk extra fast because it makes them just feel nauseous, or it makes them headachy, or it makes them, frankly, a little bit like snotty, like their allergies get the best of them. Your liver's not failing, all right? It's just backlogged. It's overloaded. These symptoms, your doctor will not tell you about. These symptoms are not what they would classify in the Western world as liver issues, because most medical doctors today are still alcoholism causes cirrhosis. They don't realize that fruit overload, and most people today don't eat 2-to-1 vegetable to fruit. They eat 5 fruits and maybe a vegetable, right? They eat tons of sugar and high fructose corn syrup, and they drink alcohol, and they're getting into these fake plastic seed oils. This causes the liver to backlog. And when I show you here in just a little bit how much your liver actually does, you're going to be mind boggled. It isn't just 500 jobs. It's more like 1,500. It's more like 1,750. It's more like every process in the body is involving the liver in some capacity. So let's talk about some of these digestive red flags. When you start realizing that digestive red flags are symptoms, an early impact symptom work is a way to stay ahead of this before it becomes a real issue for you. And so most people don't realize it, but if you're bloated after a meal, that is not necessarily your food choice. It's your liver's inability to keep up with whatever you ate, because you probably over the course of your days have overconsumed these bad inflammatory foods that cause your system to backlog. The average American right now has 10 to 15 meals caked up inside. That's interesting. 10 to 15 meals caked up in your belly. I just see that picture of this person grabbing their Dunlop belly and going, oh, I'm so bloated. Or, oh, I got the Dunlop belly, Dunlopped over my belt. This is muffin top. This is blood sugar imbalance. This is liver toxicity. This is the body's inability to get rid of waste, and so it stores it in fat cells. Why? To protect you. But now you're gassy, you're bloated, you're refluxy, you're constipated, or heck, you're even irritable bowel syndrome because your body's trying to help you dump these toxins. Maybe your liver just needs a detox. At drchapawellness.com, I've been teaching detox for 20 years. I know a little thing about detox. I've done 50 myself. I've done 30 gallbladder flushes myself. I've done all kinds of cleanses on my bowels myself. Why? Because I never wanted to ask you to do something over and over and over again if I wasn't, one, willing to do it myself. You're never going to catch me at a fast food joint unless I'm going to the bathroom. The liver doesn't just detox. It governs metabolism. It governs your hormones. It governs your immune system. It governs your cellular energy pathways for every cell, tissue, organ, gland in the body. And if you've ever gone and listened to me in the past several weeks, you would remember one of the talks we did, 37 trillion cells your body has to manage. Your liver's involved in most, if not every one of these. But the bowels are a key factor in looking for clues in liver function. If the bowels are slow, sluggish, stopped up, backed up in any way, shape, and form, then your liver will not, by default, dump toxins into an already toxic bowel, which then further backs these toxins up into the lymphatics, because the body doesn't want fatty liver. So it's going to push these toxins into the lymphatics, and then it's going to back up into your sinuses, and then you're going to suffer with allergies. It's going to back up into your lungs, and you're going to have lung issues, snoring at night. You're going to have all kinds of upper respiratory, opportunities to get sick throughout the year. You're going to have skin rashes. You're going to have hives. I had somebody just email me today. I'm suffering with hives, and I'm coming to see you because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of all this skin distress. I'm telling you, your liver's involved. Your bowels are involved. And all life starts and stops at the cellular level. And nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to go into the wonderful land of energy, vitality, and longevity, or unfortunately spiral off into the negatives of symptom land. If you have symptom patterns you are not genetically born with, your liver, your bowels need an overhaul. And at drchapawellness.com, we can coach you, teach you, direct you on how to do different types of cleanses, whether it's a full body 21-day, 10-day detox, whether it's a parasite cleanse, gallbladder flush. We have all kinds of resources and tools. The goal in the long run is to make sure the bowels are not the bottleneck, to make sure that the liver is not the bottleneck, and that your body isn't suffering needlessly with symptom patterns as these mentioned here: the bloating, gas, the constipation, the loose stools, headaches, joint pain, or blood pressure or hormone issues. Your liver, your bowels are absolutely imperative to make sure that when the sewer system's clogged, the liver can't dump into that toxic sewer system. So it will back up and cause symptoms elsewhere. This is not good because when it backs up elsewhere, how many people don't like having bags under their eyes? How many people don't like the little bumps on their face? How many people have dry patches of skin all over on their body, in their scalp, on their backside, on their knees, on their feet, on their hands? Are they itchy? Are they scratchy? Are they suffering with allergies? Or they have the butterfly rash across the face? This is showing up on the outside, but it's just an indication that the inside is where the problem lies. If you have any type of symptom problem on your skin and you've never done a detox, you've never indulged in cleansing of the bowel, then you need to give drchopawellness.com a call, email, a touch base. You got to get on a plan. You have to realize that it's your life, your health, your choice, and your skin will be more radiant than ever. Your body will thrive when most people are aging on the accelerated aging curve. You're going to be like looking 10 years younger. And I have this people talk up to me all the time. They come in and they do a detox and they say, man, I feel so good. Can I just live this way? And I'm like, yes, that's the point. This is a lifestyle. I was on a podcast recently and we were talking about, it's not just a diet change. It is a lifestyle, a way of thinking. It is a way of exercising. It's a way of hydrating. It's a way of eating. It's a way of sleeping and resting and praying in order to be the best version of you possible. Going back to the watch analogy, what part of the watch tells time? And when you get that truth and you realize you are in control of your life, your health, your choice, then every system in the body improves. When you choose otherwise, unfortunately, you will suffer needlessly with things like hormone imbalances. Hidden but powerful. Weight gain. People have struggled here for years. PMS, irregularities in cycles, perimenopause, early onset menopause, where people are starting to shift into their second puberty too early. And that's because these sex organs in your body, they lay themselves down on the altar of survival. You see, God designed your body to heal. God designed your body to survive, to thrive. And when we abuse our body, we suffer. When we support our body well, and we do the necessary due diligences to build our bodies up, the body thrives. And when it's thriving is when you're going to see energy, vitality, longevity, onward, upward, goodward, and Godward continue, and your mood to be stable, and your ability to be the best version of yourself possible in your later years is key, and more often than not, something that's real and attainable. For example, the average centenarian, as somebody that's lived to be over 100 years old, they have what they claim to be their best years between 65 and 95 years old. So that means if you're not even 60 yet, you haven't even hit your prime. That should fire you up. What if you're right now dealing with these symptoms, mood swings, low libido, PMS-like symptoms, weight gain, and you've tried everything? Have you done a detox lately? Have you done enough detoxing lately? When's the last time you got into a low carb state and a ketogenic state or a carnivorous state and reset your blood sugar for a time? When's the last time you got yourself onto one of our detox protocols to force and support the body pathways to function better, not force them, but to function better, to get rid of waste, trash, toxins, and debris? If you want estrogen clearance, instead of recycling estrogen and have estrogen build up in the body and cause all kinds of menopausal symptoms, or in the man, early onset andropause, which is the midlife crisis or the male version of menopause, where the body starts overcompensating for excess amount of unnecessary hormone balance, and the body begins to decline rapidly. You'll see thyroid hormone conversion from T4 to T3 just dip. That's where you start seeing that pudgy midsection. You start feeling that pear shape or apple shaped body presentation where you're big from the collarbone to your waistline. That's a classic liver thyroid metabolism. And that's an indication that the liver and the thyroid are suffering. Cortisol metabolism. How many people are stressed? I got to sit on this slide. More? Yes, because weight gain and cortisol go hand in hand. Early onset perimenopause and menopause go hand in hand. When you compound stress into the conversation, and most people today are busy, being under Satan's yoke, BUSY. Most people are stressed over a 0 to 10 scale, a 7, 8, 9, or a 10. When stress levels are climbing, cortisol levels are climbing. So when cortisol goes up, it shuts off all your fat burning hormones. Oh, that's brutal truth right there. And then what happens is that as the stress hormones continue to rise and your body feels like it's running from the grizzly bear, the saber-toothed tiger, you're not in the mood to procreate, so you get low sex drive. And now you don't get the rest you need because your body is so fight or flight, you can't even get into a subconscious space. So now you're a moody mess. You're an anxious mess, all because the liver can't put you into a deep sleep state because you haven't managed cortisol. Or let's look at insulin. Oh, the insulin spikes. If you're on the yo-yos diet, the ups and downs diet, where you can't make it through a 15-hour fast without having headaches. You can't do a gallbladder flush because you get sick, like nauseous blood sugar swings up and down. If you feel like you cannot go hours on, like at least 4 hours without food, you have an insulin modulation problem. You have a blood sugar imbalance problem. Vitamin D is involved in this process as well. Like when we start looking at, most people don't realize, but vitamin D being low messes up your hormones. In every case that comes in, I would say more than 90% of the patients that come in have low vitamin D. And some of these people work outside. So what's up with that? I thought it was from the sun. No, it's how your body can manage it and use it. So again, organ dysfunction, poor nutrition can collide and create dysfunction in utilization. And this is a true blue issue when we're looking at hormone dysregulation. Hormones oftentimes are downstream. Liver, bowel, and lymphatic cleansing are upstream. So we've got to go upstream and clear these symptom issues. Why? Because the liver always has a plan, unless it's just backlogged and can't keep up. Because the liver controls so many things in your body, like blood sugar, inflammation, brain chemistry, energy. Of course, those are the easy things. This is where we want to carefully appreciate that, hey, I know you've had blood work, and I even appreciate those of you that have eaten clean for a season. But I had a patient upset because their skin was messed up. They were on a detox and they were getting better. They stayed on a program, they were getting better, but then they started deviating off the plane. Because I'll be honest with you, it's not always fun to eat clean. Not in a world that's basically sensationalized your taste buds. In the church movement, what you win them with, you win them to. In the body, what you win them to, the taste buds, then you can win them through addiction. And so we have to realize by age 9, most of you have already chosen if you're going to go Heinz ketchup or some other brand, or Miracle Whip versus Hellmann's, or whatever the brand of soda that you're doing. These companies, these soda pop companies and chip companies have planned this out. They know that by 9 years old, if they can get you habitually eating their food, and you will sooner or later revert back to comfort food. So you have to really fight the psychology of the mind. This is why this is such a full body approach, and why you need a team of people surrounding you. Our community at drchapawellness.com is there to support you, to walk with you, to train you, to answer questions along the way, inspire you to do this over and over again, because your liver needs it, your bowels need it, your body needs it, and it can be done. So if I find that a person starts having a reversal back towards symptom land, oftentimes they're out eating foods they shouldn't be eating. They've gotten off their plan. They haven't done a detox in a year. I would say you have to recognize that just because you're not an alcoholic or a drinker, or just because you think you eat clean, doesn't mean that you aren't having issues in your body's biochemistry through accumulation of toxins from everything that you drink, everything that you eat, everything that you breathe in, and everything that you rub on your body in the form of a lotion or potion. So just because you take supplements, Just because you've done one detox doesn't mean that you can hang up your gloves. You got to get back in the game, and you've got to go back to the food. You got to start realizing food is medicine. If it didn't grow off a tree or out of the ground, if it doesn't swim in the sea, fly in the air, if it doesn't walk or crawl, if it doesn't have a mother or father, you probably should avoid it. So when we look at healthy options, we want to look at real food, food that your body can trust as nutrient dense. I've been carnivore for over a year and a half now. And I would say of all the diets I've been on, this is by far the most anti-inflammatory protocol and easiest diet I've ever been on. But I talk to people all the time, and I'm truly shocked at the number of people that tell me, there's no way I could do that, Dr. Chapa. That's crazy. I love my vegetables. I love my salad. Hey, great. You could still eat arugula, onions. You can still get into the leafy greens. You can still have, zucchinis and squashes. But if you recognize that your food plate should be 70% protein and 20% fats, and then 10% carbohydrates from starches, like these vegetables even, then you start realizing that's not enough to cause an inflammatory response, and you're still going to get a lot of benefit. I have found that people have to get back to real food. The problem with eating vegetables is most people don't eat raw vegetables. What do? Well, they cook them in bad oils. They load them down with seasonings that are chock full of MSG and partially hydrogenated oil and sugar. Most people really don't like bitter vegetables. They don't like cruciferous broccolis and cauliflowers. I know some of you guys that are listening to me right now probably are my people that like these things. And believe you me, I do too. But what if you're a person that every time you eat broccoli and cauliflower, knowing that the science supports that it's good for your estrogen clearance, it's good for your liver, it's good for phase 1, phase 2 detoxification. And the truth be told, it is all those things. But every time you eat it, you're a gas factory for a day and a half, or you get headaches from it, or your wife sleeps in another room, your spouse sleeps in another room. Then you got to realize that some plants you can get away with eating and some you can't. When you eat real food, you shouldn't have a problem. But when you're dousing it with high fructose corn syrup from salad dressings, when you're putting homogenized, pasteurized, ranch style dressings over or into a dipping sauce, you're not really wanting the vegetable. You're craving the sugar and the spice that you're dipping it in. Your food matters. Food allies that support your liver are things like cruciferous vegetables and beets and garlic. Of course, I'm a big fan. I love herbs. I love teas. And I always support the body with, green tea or dandelion root tea. I even use, turmeric and milk thistle. I love berberine. I love echinacea. I don't know that there's an herb that I wouldn't get behind, whenever it comes to supporting and restructuring how the liver operates. But what happens is if you are consuming alcohol, you are competing with your detox pathways. You're putting in something to support a pathway, but you're putting in chemicals to ultimately destroy a pathway. And then you eat or drink or get into ultra processed foods. There's more nutrition in the cardboard box that your cereal comes in than there is in the actual cereal itself. Many food items are this way. There's more value in the package than in the substrate inside. And what happens is when you get into these chemical processed ingredients over and over and over, day in and day out, the liver stress, the liver toxic load climbs and destroys your metabolic output. So if you are a late night eater, you will oftentimes figure out that you don't sleep as good and you wake up more tired in the morning and you're a little bit more sluggish and food hungover than you realize. So we have to help people remove the burdens. We're going to talk about it here in just a second. What you eat's important, but what you don't eat is more important. And that's a fact, Jack. You got to understand that when we're eating real food, we want to really push into this space here. Hefty proteins, good amount of healthy quality fats. These are going to be the best of the best. Fatty fish lowers inflammation in the liver. It allows the cell membranes through 37 trillion cells to regenerate and repair themselves. When you get into grass-fed red meats, it provides the necessary essential amino acids required for detoxing your body, repairing, regenerating, and restoring your body back to ideal health. When we look at pasture-raised poultry or eggs, that assuming that, of course, I know there's some of you can't tolerate them, but in general, when you can, clean proteins for the liver, repair the liver, and support every other tissue, cell, organ, gland in the body. And I want you to really understand that the bad oil conversation is a real issue. If you're eating canola oil, you're eating and using con oil. If you're still doing vegetable oil, you've got to get off that train. If you see weird plant-based cottonseed oil in your ingredients, you're eating fake food. And if you're eating make-believe food, the best you'll ever have and the best your liver will ever be is make-believe. So we need to stay back and go back to olive oils, not the cheap olive oils. Spend a little extra money and get a good one. Coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, preferably organic, and make sure it's a stick, not a spread on the butter. And this is all because of the necessary fat content that helps the body regenerate itself at the cellular membrane level. Now, I was just listening to one of the gurus online talk about restructuring our water. Did you know you could take and melt a little bit of butter into your water and restructure your water? You know what that means? That means you're cellular enhancing the water that you're drinking. And now the water you're drinking becomes more electrically active. And now you're detoxing through water intake. Most people are not sick. They're thirsty. And I really want people to grab that little nugget. If you got rid of the inflammatory foods, and if you put in better high quality proteins and fats, and you reduced the amount of burden of seed oils and put in higher quality oils, you would see your body turn around in 30 days. That is essentially a real food diet. So it's not necessarily about going carnivore or going keto or something extreme. It's about doing enough of the real food living practices day in and day out, which is why you should food log. You should look at what you're eating day in and day out. You should make sure that you can look at your food log and go, you know what, I've eaten fast food 3 times this week. I'm shocked. People go, I ate pizza this week. I had beer this week. They don't even remember. They're on autopilot. And this is an indicator that you have to get back conscious, get back intentional so that you can evaluate. You can't expect what you don't inspect. And so we have to maximize and look at these different avenues, because if you don't, you are on a fast track to eating chemical, adulterated, highly marketed food that pull you back in time and time again, which drives your detox pathways, which causes your body to malfunction. I had a guy just tell me the other day, he was eating clean. He wasn't eating anything bad. He was doing perfect. And in his cup holder, he's got a half pack eaten of Ritz crackers. And I'm thinking, And then I see he's got, gum also on his dashboard. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, wow. And we just think we are doing the right things, guys. But ultimately, we have to minimize the onslaught of highly processed foods, highly contaminated foods, and we'll see our body, from a liver perspective, improve. Now, I'll tell you this other quick story, because I was talking to a doctor buddy just the other day, and we were talking about the white blood cell to neutrophil ratios in the body and the white blood cell. When we look at a blood panel, we're always looking at ratios. We're always looking for patterns. And when we started talking, this guy's been in practice 28 years. And it was funny. He said, yeah, it's all true, man. When the immune system is burdened, bacteria is out of control and yeast is overgrowing. And it's because people won't stop eating sugar. So, doc, are you telling me it's not about my liver? You're telling me it's not about my gut? Well, remember, gut dysfunction, liver dysfunction causes nutritional deficiencies through malabsorption. So yes, indirectly, yes. But the food that you're putting in your body, if you're adding sugar, high fructose corn syrup, if you're driving liver intolerance, you're driving insulin resistance, you are then compounding that with alcohol because you feel like you had a rough week, or you're putting it in sugar, getting in other sugars because you think that, that's what you do at the end of the day or at the end of a meal is to eat something sweet. That is not always the case. You got to learn how to walk past the sweets, walk past the donuts. And then most importantly, you got to get these second most important, you got to get these seed oils under control. And you've got to start looking at the less trash you put in the body, the better. What you eat's important, but what you don't eat is more important. That is a truth. And so less input, less burden, better functionality all the day long, all the way to Sunday, so to speak. So the liver's the giver. A happy liver is a happy life. It's like, happy wife, happy life. Well, happy liver, happy life. Your liver is always communicating with you. If you wake up at night and you are hot, if you're having night sweats, if you're having nightmares, if you are waking up at night to pee, restless, tossing, turning, if you wake up at night with cramps, your liver is struggling to keep up with its demands. And so it's pulling on other systems to get involved. So from a system regulation perspective, let's explore real quick, because I really want to emphasize the importance of the Detox in a Box, the drchapawellness.com plan to help you live your best, be your best, and stay your best. Your liver's always whispering to you saying, help me, help me. One day though, when it gets way out of hand, it'll scream. When you expand from functional wellness to functional illness, you start going, I am in control of this. Your processes are regulated by the liver in every way, shape, and form. So your liver, of course, controls nutrients, toxins, and hormones. Your liver signals inflammatory modulating agents and cell-mediated responses when the body is, dealing with issues down at your feet, for example. So if your ankles are swelling, your liver's involved. And so your liver determines how much glucose, how much fatty acid, healthy energy, healthy amino acids do you have available for restoration, repair, and recovery. The liver is like the drummer. He sets the tempo. It's your metabolic rate, your detox speed, how well you produce bile, and maximizes thousands and thousands of downstream processes across metabolism, blood sugar regulation, glycogen storage, that's your energy storage for later, energy reserves for, hey, I got to tap into fast cash right now through a process called gluconeogenesis, fatty acid synthesis, breakdown. So now you're taking fatty acids from, say, fish or butter, olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, and turning it into something that you can actually use. The liver's involved in your cholesterol, your triglycerides. Your liver's involved in ketone production. The liver's involved in amino acid interconversions and interconversions inside the body for repair from peptides building. Your liver is involved in what we call detox ammonia cycles to get rid of excess waste, or phase 1, phase 2 liver detoxification, where you take fat soluble compounds and you convert them into intermediate metabolites, and then you convert them into something that you can pee out, poop out, sweat out, breathe out. Your liver is involved in managing drugs you get exposed to, or environmental pollutants, alcohol that you drink, or even food contaminants that are in from pesticides, Roundup Ready foods, genetic engineered foods, and of course, handling and managing hormones, estrogen clearance, thyroid conversion from T4 to active T3, cortisol management. I'm telling you, your liver's involved in everything. And so if I had to guess, I would say it's thousands, 1,500 to 1,700 processes easily that your liver's involved in. Do you want a healthy, happy liver? Are you going to ignore the whisper, the small signs, allergies, upper respiratory issues, skin issues, or sleep disruption? Or are you going to start the detox process now? My hope, my desire is that if you want 37 trillion cells to be healthy, happy, and whole, you best be taking care of your liver. If you're not detoxing in the 21st century, I encourage you to detox with us this year twice. 42 days a year of detoxification will change your life. You will see your weight come down, you'll see your energy go up, your mental clarity engage, and your body will literally thrive. So this is an opportunity. If you take this time to get that QR code on your from your cell phone, take your camera up, shine the little light on the camera on the QR code, hit the link that pops up. It'll take you to a place where you can learn the principles of detoxification. You can learn the principles of cellular regeneration. You can learn the principles that I'm teaching you here and more on how to take care of your liver and rebuild your liver and apply a process, a proven process to restore your health back to ideal. You will see your age reverse. You'll see your energy climb. People will go, wow, you look amazing. You're going to say, and I feel amazing, better still. I am excited to share the Detox in a Box with you. And I hope that you have enjoyed just learning a little bit about one of the most fascinating organs in your body, the liver. And so if you like this content, if you want more of it, share it with your friends, number one. And number two, tell us. Write us a review. Tell us what you think. Comment in the comments. Share the message of health and wellness. And let's build a community of wellness warriors that take care of the liver, that support the liver, and help the liver thrive in a world that needs more and more just that, thriving. So guys, with that said, if you've never done a detox, I want to encourage you to engage in the process. Have some fun. Do the process. See what your body's made of. Let it show you where your body's weak and do it again. If you get stuck, I had a patient just started detox this week and they started having some symptoms and they go, oh, I got to stop the detox. I'm having symptoms. No, you don't. We have to change and pivot. We might need to do a foot bath. We might need to do some rebounding. We might need to drink some more water. We may need to do some drainage remedies. We may need to change how we're approaching the dose of what we've got going on. Not that it's a bad thing that you're having a symptom. It's a sign your body is having a toxic response. drchapawellness.com has your resources. I got your back. I always like to say I do my best work behind your back, in front of your back, in all ways, digitally and in person. So if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired and you want to feel better, live better, be better, then let us know. We are here for you and we are excited to be on your wellness team. So with that, Dr. Chapa loves you. I'm praying for you always. I believe in you, and I hope that you have a fantastic and wonderful night tonight, and that you kick butt and take names this week, and that you sign up for the detox. How many people are going to sign up for the detox? Put in the comments below. I would love to hear it, see it, and I'd love to work with you on your journey in our programs, in our online communities, to live your best, be your best, and stay your best. Till next week, can't wait to do it again. Every Monday night, we come to you live, and we're going to teach you more and more tools and secrets on how to live your best. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.